Well, at the moment, eUnited are top of the shop, and that's what we're about to move on to now. You went on your rampage about Splice, but now it's eUnited versus CLG is the next matchup on the cards. And as you can see by the standings, eUnited still undefeated so far this split. Catalogic Gaming, worrisome, I guess is the best word I can use there after the first 2 weeks.
CLG have kind of felt the same.
Yeah.
They've been consistently average, I think is the best way to put it. And right now, I think their primary focus is to just try and prove to everybody that they are still one of the top-tier teams in North America.
Well, all these teams, as we keep mentioning, trying to get themselves to Worlds. And, well, the world champion PolarBearMike got interviewed earlier on to actually ask him some questions about how he thought this game would go against CLG.
All right, joined now by eUnited support, PolarBearMike. Mike, what's been the transition like having Baskin in the mid lane in comparison to Venenu?
I would say that it has made the team environment just like a lot fresher, I think, which was like an expected change. I also think that Baskin is more like individualistic in the way he like thinks of his role and like the way he wants to make plays. So still something that we're like continuing to try to work on and like figure out how we want to play with him, but it's been really fun so far.
Who is more troll? Because both players have some tendency to have some fun, but your tweets recently has been showing a different side.
Definitely Baskin by a surprisingly a large margin. Actually, Ven was like really good at trolling like in scrims, but like Baskin trolls nonstop no matter what.
Is that really upsetting the balance of power of trolls on your team?
Okay, I take it seriously. I feel like you're directing that at me.
Not me.
Yeah, okay. Nah, I mean, our team environment's been good. I think for the most part we've had like a lot of serious discussions and like kind of figured out how we want to do things. And of course, like obviously like every team like has fun from time to time in scrims, but it's been good.
What are you looking forward to up against CLG? What are you kind of focusing on when you prepare for them?
I'm not sure. Actually, when we scrimmed CLG a good bit so far this split, they've actually like played kinda similarly, or like they have a lot of like similar ideas to us. So I think it'll be like a pretty good test in like picks and bans, because I think both teams value like really similar gods for the most part. And other than that, I think just, you know, CLG has like, you know, they didn't change their roster like other teams did, so they pretty much have like the same tendencies, and like we're familiar with them and know how they play. So you know, they're just a solid team that you kind of have to play cleanly against in order to win.
Jokes aside, you guys are clearly the dominant force in North America right now. Is it difficult to stay focused on your NA opponents without looking forward to what you can expect from the EU teams at Worlds?
I mean, not in like a we're looking past them sort of way, but the focus will always be on kind of like the international stage and trying to beat Europe at Worlds again. I wouldn't say that we like disregard the NA opponents, but I would definitely be lying if I said that I didn't feel like extremely confident and like pretty much like secured in thinking that like we were going to get the bye to DreamHack and place top 2. But you know, that being said, there's still like meta developments that we have to go through like within NA, and I think there are still teams, like I mentioned, CLG, that still has like good ideas of like how to play the game. So it's kind of just finding a balance between like keeping an eye on Europe and trying to like see how they're thinking of the game and how they're adapting, while also like continuing to learn from the teams that we're playing against in NA, and like, you know, taking the good from them while also recognizing like their flaws or what they're missing out on.
Mike, thanks for your time and good luck against CLG.
That was an interview between Aggro and PolarBearMike, who also looks like he's going to be an astronaut. Did you see that Lego spaceship in the background he's been working on?
Hey, he's been crafting some
I've not
serious
seen
business
it.
in
I
between
just saw the
scrim
box.
times. I mean, when you're waiting for everybody to actually come into the lobby, especially with players like Baskin on your team, you know he's not going to be there on time. I don't blame him. Mike had to pick up some sort of side hobby.
Let's get into picks and bans now. It's going to be eUnited up against Counter Logic Gaming. Now, CLG as well, PolarBearMike was saying they have good ideas and strategies, but they're the same team that they've fought all year, so they kind of know their tendencies. And we, generally as casters, always like, well, you make a role change, it's going to be a bit awkward to get used to the changes they're going to make, Taco. But then again, if you're the same roster, everyone knows your style.
I think Mike was right. He hit the hammer on the nail on the head.
The hammer on the nail.
One. Yes, it was.
Just go with hammer on the nail. You just
nail on the
just
head.
say it. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same
is.
difference. Either way, Mike manages to kind of understand that while CLG, they're the same players that they have been, so you know what to expect in that regard in terms of how aggressive or passive that they might want to play. But CLG are still a team that can concoct a pretty different type of playstyle that, as far as compositions are concerned. They're still going to be able to work out what's really strong in the meta. You still have to be concerned about what Hurriwind and Homiefe can get going for themselves. I think Snoopy is also kind of been a little bit on the sleeper side. Yeah, for sure. He's had some games where he has seriously killed it in that hunter role.
Well, let's get into the picks and bans a little bit more. So Freya, Ratatoska, Athena, Chernabug, some of the standard ones you'll expect to see in the ban phase. Morrigan gets through, and eUnited will immediately take that for themselves to more than likely give to Baskin here, which also does hit counter logic game because Hurriwind loves to play that god just as well.
And I think it's for a good reason, too, that United decided to take Morrigan this early on, because now it opens up their composition or their draft potential here to be able to be a little bit looser and kind of pose a constant threat to CLG. Well, maybe they're going to have double ultimates for Serqet, for Baron. They're even taking the Naja.
Oh god, double Baron ult. I don't even thought about Naja, Anhur, Serqet, and Baron Samedi. eUnited's composition. Well, on paper, you look at them and go, okay, this is going to be a rough one. That's what it kind of feels like to me.
Heavy control so far from eUnited, but also they get kind of two for the price of one. They have plenty of damage, but they also get a decent amount of control because of that Baron pickup. And some possibility for this to be Baron in the support role as well. I don't think that eUnited are a team that really likes to limit themselves to gods in one particular role. I think that they do have players like Benji and PBM who can be a little bit more interchangeable with their god choices.
Definitely true. CLG, though, with that Fafnir pick for themselves, kind of does give you an idea of that maybe they go for a double hunter, or maybe the likes of a Sol could be available for them here for CLG. Options definitely available as we now look for their next pick.
And on her Fafnir, I'm almost wondering if there's going to be a secondary god pick selection choice here for CLG. Some possibilities for Apollo, Ullr. They're all gods that we've seen Hurriwind try and pilot before in that mid lane. It's mostly just the Fafnir that would kind of allude to this for me, as well as taking the Kuzenbo for solo.
Yeah, the Kuzenbo for solo is going to be interesting to see what it's against, because obviously Benji's still got his last pick. Artio is the selection, so it could be an all-Guardian solo, unless it's Baron in the solo, which we've seen plenty before too.
We have seen a decent amount of Baron in the solo role. I think that I would prefer to see Baron with the Ho Yi, probably a little bit more control for duo in that sense.
Double
Not only
hunter.
that, but it's just the slows. The slows are so deadly, especially against gods like Hachiman.
Double Hunter for CLG then is going to come through with the Fafnir. I'm a little bit worried about magical damage. It's only really Kuzenbo. Is Kuzenbo going to bring enough, you think, magical-wise?
Kuzenbo is mostly just to reflect the damage from eUnited. I think that CLG are just trying to use eUnited's own damage against them.
Who do you guys at home think will win? And while you guys are answering that, Taco, I'm going to ask you the same question.
I would probably have to lean towards eUnited, not because their draft is that much better than CLG, but just because the performance so far has been lights out in fall split.
It's generally the case that a lot of people probably would think about how those performances have gone between the two. It's time, though, to get on with this. eUnited versus CLG. Game 1. It's Zefta and Anatoly.
Thanks a lot, Graham. Thanks a lot, Taco. eUnited here, getting ready to start the party. You got the Baron. It's in the hands of PolarBearMike. They're going to go head-to-head against Counter Logic Gaming. Totally, how you doing on this fine hump day?
Honestly, I'm having a blast. Feeling good, feeling great, looking good, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. Look good, feel good.
Hopefully we get the same amount of competition out of these two teams. Really fun stuff earlier on. Splice taking the surprise victory over Space Station Gaming. Well-earned, very strong play. Maswal continues to impress.
It's a surprise to a lot of people, but Splice has been stepping it up lately. And if there's ever time for CLG to step it up, now would be the time. In week number 3, we're approaching that second half of the split. eUnited, still undefeated thus far.
It's going to be a tall task, though. eUnited, as you mentioned, undefeated, very strong. New player Baskin along for the ride, which in a lot of fans' eyes is a straight upgrade to Venenu. I think that's a deeper conversation, but I think we can all agree that Baskin, a very talented player in his own right. With all that said, I'm consistently looking at Screammmmm. He's been the guy to just continuously run this game, and I think that because of Screammmmm and Baskin, the mid-jungle synergy, I think that's really what you got to look to as you try to beat this undefeated team.
And the thing that makes Screammmmm so good is that he doesn't have an identifiable style. twisted my words there a little bit, but yeah, so his style is just so wide and diverse that you can't really like ban him out. You can't really play against a specific strategy because he just has so many to be able to cut out any single game, any single day.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to lean towards the Serqets and the Robins and the Najas, but if you make him mad enough, he will bring out Bastet and just beat you up. He can really do whatever he wants, so Screammmmm certainly, I think, a big part of what goes on. PandaCat with a nice reactionary jump there. Gonna get away from Snoopy right quick. Nice play from the dual lane for eUnited.
Snoopy was dancing earlier. I'm not sure how much he'll continue to dance after all this poke, especially with Screammmmm wrapping around the backhand side. Level 3, but doesn't have blink.
Oh, but the positioning is not perfect. Level 2 on both of these players. One half of the taunt lands. The zigzag's good as well. Basics, they're not going to be able to land there because of the Fafnir. Fantastic job from Jigz.
Uh-oh, solo lane though. fineokay tussling with Benji, but gonna keep him in place for the moment. It's so difficult to handle a Kuzenbo when you're gonna get sumo slammed through the entire wave. And Benji at the level 3 Artio doesn't have the most sustain quite yet, but managing to still out-sustain fineokay. Gonna force a pretty early back, I'd say.
Homiefe here on the left-hand side. Screammmmm rotating back around. eUnited, though, pushed up. Homiefe not really interested in looking for the gank, which I am surprised about. Naja excels at level 2, 3, 4 ganks. He looks really good there. Homiefe just deciding to prioritize the farm instead, looking for his speed and then the red.
Hurriwind playing very aggressive in the mid lane, knowing that Screammmmm is going to be on the top of the speed buff timer, so he has that 30-second window to get the wave, bully Baskin out of the lane to be able to get the solo wave, while Screammmmm has to cover the wave. So at best, Baskin is going to share a couple of minions on their tower. In fact, by the time he gets there, minion is already dead. So a little bit of experience advantage for Hurriwind with his sense of awareness through jungle timers.
PandaCat and PBM making the rotation here to pick up the red buff. No invades as of yet. And with a character like Naja, that is a little bit surprising. Naja can easily clear camps at level 4 with the ring toss, looking at the Harpy camps, of course. So interesting to see both teams kind of play it so close.
Anything can happen at any given moment. When Baskin hits level 5, the whole world is going to be his oyster at selection. So it makes sense as to why he's playing a little more conservative. But you hit the nail on the head where Homie not making the plays happen quite yet, but as I say that, wrapping around the dual lane at level 5.
Oh, well, yeah, he's going to go for it, which is a big deal. Level 4 is Panda and PolarBearMike. However, Homiefe going to lose half his HP, take PBM to the sky. 2 shots, there's a third, and the follow-up on the bottom is good enough. Snoopy winds up with the first blood for CLG. Keep an eye on the jungle. Screammm's making the rotation.
Screammmmm needs to capitalize on anything
No
here. No Windfire wheels available for Homie. Needs to hit the last breath.
He misses the taunt.
Jigz.
That's going to be the end of that. That's going to be the end of that gank.
Good peel out of Jigz, whether it was the first one, just using that underhand tactics to disarm Screammmmm. All Screammmmm needed was 2, maybe 3 basic attacks on the first gank.
Yep.
Disrupted. All Screammmmm needed to do was apply a last breath, disrupt it through the hammer stun. Jigz doing a good job peeling for Snoopy.
Just a wonderful job here from the support player on CLG so far. Purple buff going to be invaded and successfully done, it looks like.
Good start. You're on the side of CLG. Not the end of the world, though, for eUnited. Game is still very even in the gold department, surprisingly, looking at Benji versus fineokay. This Guardian versus Guardian matchup, and they were alluding it to the desk. Is Kuzenbo enough magical damage for CLG in this mid to late game? Between Fafnir provides quite a bit of a punch, but I'm honestly a little surprised we don't see the likes of Ymir for fineokay, considering PBM is playing the Baron, Baskin is on the Morrigan, Screammmmm has to jump over with the ambush, Benji can get locked in with those Ymir walls, and you get more magical damage out of the Ymir throughout the longer a team fight kind of keeps going on.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. fineokay likes his Ymir as well. It's a pick that he's a really big fan of, so I am a little bit surprised not to see that one come out. Ultimate out of Hurriwind. He's going to jump away from PolarBearMike's ultimate. So a trade of the mid laners for the supports. Counterlogic game and eUnited respectively.
Baskin not messing around. Not going to take the Naja bait. Instantly going to use the Purification Beats to disengage. PBM using the ultimate there. I'd say a little bit prematurely. considering that Hurriwind still had his jump. Normally, you're trying to wait for those disengages before you use life of the party, or at least bait them out so that somebody else from the sides can look for the flank like Scream is in mid lane.
Right, it's very similar to like Hades ult, right? Where you want to make sure that players are going to be stuck in the nonsense.
Great recognition from CLG with a ward on the left side mid Harpies. Hurriwind and Homiefe just kind of position themselves towards the opposite side wall so that if Scream ever did try to ambush over the wall, he has to use the death bait to even cut more distance.
Just making sure that their positioning is key. It's a big deal there, specifically in the mid lane. So a nice heads up play there. Good observation there, Tully. On the left side, everything's still continuing as it should. Hoagie and PolarBearMike just doing what they're doing. Still a continued tie game, a very slow one here for CLG and eUnited. We're 7 minutes in, just the first blood.
Despite that first blood going to the likes of Snoopy, it's actually going to be PandaCat that finished off the Devil Gloves a little bit earlier, even able to get more stacks in that department.
Gold Fury, probably not a location where players are looking to go just yet. Players really need to find an opening before they look for something like that. eUnited, this game, still waiting on it. I think their composition very much dictates that they're not doing it anytime soon. Scream makes a lot of sense from levels 1 to 3, but then needs the late game to really start doing it.
I think eUnited is going to try to wait out the late game, honestly. The ball is in CLG's court for early to mid game between these double physical hunters, both going for lifesteal actually, trying to rely on this coerce attack speed steroid out of Jigz for objective shred. So as long as eUnited has the vision control around the left side of the map, they should be fine to kind of drag it on and rely on their late game teamfight tactics. They want Scream to get level 12 to get that blink initiation online. So it's all a bit of a farming game between these two junglers.
Right now, I mean, the junglers, sure, they're just farming up, I guess. Naja, and this has been, oh man, it's been an issue for me in general, but Benji's having an issue here, just surrounded, and he'll be put down. Hurriwind with the last hit off of the assist from mainly the Kuzenbo. Homiefe there as well. I'm just going to comment on Homiefe hasn't been as aggressive as I would like him to be usually. Not just this game, but in general for CLG.
It's about picking your spots. He's been known to be aggressive at times, but I don't think this is the timing that warrants it. PandaCat doing a good job zoning Snoopy. If anything, Homie should be assisting out Snoopy to peel PandaCat away. And speaking of the Ukrainian hunter for eUnited, he's just been so aggressive recently in the whole fall split.
Well, there's ult for ult. PBM uses his, chases out Homies.
Not a bad trade, honestly, for Homie, considering he has that 10% cooldown reduction.
Yeah, I think that's a better move for Homiefe, in all honesty. You're getting rid of Homie's ult, which will delete a player, sure. But that's a team fight ultimate that you're trading for that. Last breath used on Homiefe. Won't be enough to kill.
Beads being traded for both. I believe he even ate a tower shot, having to get into that for the basic attack, trying to pop the Cataclysm, but not going to be fruitful there. PBM on the flank, gonna force that cavalry charge out of Snoopy.
Yep, Beats still intact, but Snoopy does not have the horse available to him, so the ultimate will be down for the count. And as Fire Giant spawns right about now, we're still in a tie game, 2-0 though. Counter Logic Gaming able to find a couple of kills earlier on.
These are just like two boxers kind of taking small itty-bitty body shots at each other. Not going to go for anything too fancy and overextend, because the best way to lose a game is overextension, and neither one of them have done that quite yet. It's all about picking their spots. I still think that Scream is really going to start highlighting, well, both junglers, honestly, trying to probably pick up the blink at level 12 and then really look for some action.
Yeah, I think Blink definitely for level 12 as well. I would agree. I think that's the right call here. Both of the players have beads already. I mean, Aegis, not really a thought process.
Ooh, look at this. fineokay rushing this Talisman of Energy. This kind of alludes to early gatherings for team fights, trying to, you know, push some towers, get some of that movement speed, the attack speed, with some of the recent changes going from 5 stacks to 6 stacks, and MP5 for your teammates. It just prolongs some of the sieges.
Also, with the fact that Hurriwind and Snoopy are going to be able to sort of capitalize off of that, right?
Normally, this is like a 4th or a 5th item pickup, so the fact that fineokay is doing it now just goes to show that there's probably going to be some tower sieges in the near future.
He's not afraid of the magical damage out of Artio, really. So you're getting, what, 60 prots?
A little bit. It's
Not
actually
so
quite
much.
a bit.
Well, there's the Suns coming down the left-hand side. eUnited looking for the team fight. Hurriwind in some trouble. Meanwhile, Windfire wheels to the sky and Scream underneath. Jigz with the last hit on the Baskin, but PandaCat trying to provide a nice little ricochet. Not going to be in the cards here. 3 players down means CLG will look towards the gold. Nice and easily, they'll kill the Big Mama Harpy. 5-0. CLG find themselves with the first real lead of the contest, just under 2,000 gold.
Just one small mistake, one small mispositioning for PBM, and he gets caught off guard. Using the life of the party is great for engaging, but you're just so immobile during that. Yeah, you can move, but it's kind of like Raijin Tycoon drones.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
Where you can't really move too fast. You're a sitting duck for a lot of big burst damage, and that's what happened. Without PBM's utility, the rest of the 4-on-5 fight was destined for CLG to win and get that gold here.
Without a doubt. I really think the gold here was set up pretty much from that situation. So right now, Benji in the solo lane versus fineokay. The Artio Kuzenbo lane, a little bit odd to see, I suppose, but just standard solo lane totally, just
Pretty
slap
much.
box.
But yeah, I'd say so, because you're looking for trades if you're the Artio player. You have to sustain naturally within your own kit, so it's better to look for him. And that's why the Void Stone was actually rushed from Benji, trying to apply even more pressure, more damage from fineokay and force him to back early, maybe some teleports here and there, and then look for some rotations. But it's all been relatively quiet. No real ganks in this solo lane.
Not just yet.
The
Well,
one death
certainly.
for Benji was because he was rotating towards the mid lane, got caught by Hurriwind, and then just that watery grave. You can't do it much against it if you have any sort of interruptible dash, such as Artio.
Just able to be taken care of, yeah. Artio, that's always been the best way to really deal with her, has been to cut down the dash, really trap her, and then you're able to take advantage of it. So Scream, I think this is a lovely pickup. Or excuse me, Homiefe, I think this is a lovely pickup. He can get the sash to interrupt the dash. I think that's really, really important. And Counter Logic Gaming, they've got a slight lead. They're looking to continue it. Middle lane teased, but not fully engaged.
Not quite yet. I think eUnited are just waiting for a couple of stacks from PBM, sitting at 25 on the Gauntlet of Thebes. Needs about 4 more waves and a little bit of change afterwards. So in about 2.5 minutes time, we could see some eUnited action.
Well, here's some action on the left side, which is eUnited. Homiefe taking Scream to the sky, landing on the bottom. Just one teammate well there, and it's Hurriwind. Takes care of that one. The mid-jungle synergy working cleanly here. CLG working cleanly without a single death just yet. 6-0. CLG pushing.
It's a good pick, but what does CLG realistically get off of this? Looking at the relics, eUnited didn't really use much. It was Scream that used the last breath. PBM, though, walking, trying to defend the purple buff. So that's something CLG can get for themselves, because Baskin was able to secure his own red buff.
Yep. So another invade coming out here from Counter Logic Gaming. Just looking for any real lead that they can cling on to. Trying to find something that'll help them push themselves to the forefront.
Hurriwind very confident, trying to go head-to-head up against Baskin, but too much mobility with that tier 2 item.
Split up damage. Now Snoopy gonna get stunned up. And thought that was gonna be the end of it, but PolarBearMike gets jumped on, and he's taking a ton of damage. Nice heal there coming out from the second ability. And PolarBearMike has to be on out of there. Mid lane, jumped over the wall, and Hurriwind escapes.
Oh, great stun from Homie, but turning into the Anhur as Baskin finds the stun. Needed to find one more basic attack. Couldn't seal the deal, but will definitely force Homie to back.
There's Hurriwind's ultimate this time. Baskin able to wiggle away. Won't die. Now, meanwhile, PandaCat. Eesh.
Forced to use the beads. Jigz has been really annoying for eUnited this game in terms of disrupting Scream on 2 occasions, forcing the purification beads on PandaCat, and Panda had a 2-level lead out of Snoopy, but that one team fight that CLG got 3-0 plus the Gold Fury put Snoopy back in the game.
And because of that, he's just able to dance. Level 14, just like the opposition. 2-0-3. He's got the slash line to go for it, but like you said, I mean, still a little bit behind nonetheless. You can see Ikeval into another piece of equipment there coming out from PandaCat. Whereas for Snoopy, just to finish Sickball.
Probably going to be Executioner for both after this. This is where the penetration needs to be focused out. fineokay going to avoid getting rooted from Benji, identifying Screammmmm right around this corner. Level 12 for Screammmmm as he's about to back and pick up that second relic. Homie already with it, going for the blink. Maybe instead going for a gank on the right side for the blue buff invade.
Ooh, I mean, that is a possibility. Scream, gonna think about it, just kind of show up, wave, and walk away.
Kind of hard to hit that Cobra's Kiss with a little Nene in front of you.
Yeah, that's also a big deal about Kuzenbo, is that he'll be able to protect himself from those projectiles. Homiefe.
He tried to sash PandaCat off camera. That's what it was.
Well, there's the ultimate on a Hurriwind.
Good
Likely
shell.
to fall here, but the shell working out wonders. He jumps over the wall and still has a chance to escape, and he'll take it. Baskin, on the other hand, going directly into the Anhur, trying to find himself a piece of sanity, and Scream on the back line takes care of Snoopy.
Snoopy too far forward with a mounted archery. Jigz is next to fall. eUnited get 2 for nothing.
So this was a scenario where it was 6-0. And eUnited very quickly find 2 kills and almost even up the game. Still down about 1,500, but absolutely, this is how eUnited make a name.
Despite not killing Hurriwind, it was a technical kill. He had to back. It was a 4-on-5 that eUnited were very happy to engage. A great safety net for Baskin, transforming into the Anhur under his own tier 1 tower, surviving long enough to find those 2 kills and baiting out Snoopy in a mounted archery.
Gold Fury goes down nice and easy for eUnited. Nobody on Counter Logic Gaming even in the area.
What a back and forth game. These teams, like, so record-wise, you wouldn't really think that this game would be even close to being even, considering CLG sitting at 1-2 currently, only defeating Trifecta in week number 1, losing to both Splice and Space Station Gaming in week number 2, but really solid performance thus far in game 1 against eUnited, the undefeated team.
Right now, United don't look like they are completely untouchable.
That's true.
They look very mortal right now. Counter Logic Gaming able to hang with them very, very well.
That's true. They did drop a game to Luminosity back in week number 1. United trying to shake that off in week number 3.
18, almost 19 minutes in. Counter Logic Gaming and eUnited relatively tied here.
And between these two teams, spring and summer, a lot of the matches went to eUnited, but the very last one in the summer did go to Counter Logic Gaming.
That's very true. That is very true. And I mean, CLG has a roster. I feel like we talk about it all the time. This is a winning team. This is not a team that you should expect to lose often. And I think that their win-loss record certainly is deceptive to how strong they are.
They definitely have moments of brilliance, especially showing it off this game. They just need to be able to keep utilizing Jigz's engages, the way he's been able to kind of peel for his team, and maybe even try to exploit PBM playing this Baron. A lot of the picks were also onto him, sitting at these 2 devs, maybe bait out some of those defensive relics. Wouldn't be surprised to see some of that action.
Not quite. Not quite at all. Backline for United is looking rather strong. PandaCat, Baskin are both going to sort of flourish. They're getting all the farm they need. Everything's being taken kind of slowly and predictably. I'm worried about the front line. Benji I'm never worried about, but I am curious to see how PolarBearMike will work. It's a 2-on-1 right now, and Scream has to jump on away. No poison dot, so I think he'll be all right for the moment.
Still Windfire Wheels for Homie with the blink. He could look for the cleanup if he really wants to. Gold Fury not due to respawn for another 2.5 minutes, but because solo was Scream, it's CLG trying to look for anything on the left side. Not going to successfully strip away that red buff, however.
You said it yourself. I mean, the picks are going to be important here for CLG. Can they find them?
Well, actually, they did. Hurriwind picking that one up, so no red buff now for eUnited.
Easily.
It's all these little things that these top-tier elite teams do to try to get any sort of advantage. So now for this red buff, 2-minute more duration timer, who knows what's about to happen. Anhur with extra power, Executioner online now. That Desert Fury, after an enfeeble passive proc hit, will bring the pain.
No, thank you. I certainly do not want to start thinking about that one. Hurriwind 2-0-3 at the moment on the Anhur. Certainly a character that can turn up, like you said, pretty much at a moment's notice.
Yeah, both Hurriwind and Homie really making it happen this game. 100% kill partition for Homie all over the map, despite might not seem that way with how calculated some of... That's what it's all about. It's not about like forcing all these issues. It's about like how and when and why. You got to ask all those questions when you are looking for any sort of play out of the jungle.
Gold Fury is going to be up in another minute, Tully. That might be the next target for our teams here. It seems like everybody's just intentionally avoiding each other.
I mean, there's not really much to farm, right? The Oracles are about to come up any second. When you have the vision control, such as both these teams do, look where the vision is on the left side between red and purple for CLG. They can identify if anyone from eUnited is around the corner, but on the flip side as well, it's not like eUnited don't have much vision as well between the left and the right side avenues right in front of CLG's Tier 1 mid tower. They can see who's crossing that street.
CLG right now, though, trying to force whatever they can. Mid lane is kind of where they're grouping up. Could be the Tier 1 tower. But again, that red buff looks juicy to counter Logic Gaming.
Well, CLG are now grouped up. They have the team fighting items they want between Talisman of Energy, Shogun's Kusari, and they're barreling down, getting 500 gold in their pockets.
Yeah, the Tier 1 tower just went down because CLG said so, pretty much. Tie game, eUnited could have taken the fight. Scream's all the way on the left side. Now, Counter Logic Gaming not done just yet. It's a 5-on-4. Scream still on the left side. eUnited doesn't seem to care as PandaCat puts down the jungler.
Using the ultimate on the backhand side. Hurriwind forced to retreat. Now everyone from CLG's on the retreat after losing one of their members. Homie in the grave.
Not just yet for PandaCat. As he takes care of Jigz. Still 2 players for none.
Snoopy!
PandaCat double kill there. Tier 1 tower in trouble. And Counter Logic Gaming picked up tower number 1. But eUnited responded with fervor.
Wow. What a shot out of PandaCat. Bouncing off the tower. Snoopy tried to run away with a mounted archery, but despite the horse's legs, his own legs couldn't get away from the ricochet. Now, with those 3 picks, eUnited feeling frisky to go for the Fire Giant. fineokay is here, but no watery grave.
And it's at 40, 30, 25% at the moment. fineokay is getting knocked up by the Fire Giant. Big damage. Here comes PandaCat. Max puts him in the ground. Hurriwind is here. No ultimate available, so you'll just watch. PolarBearMike low. Does have to return to base.
Thinking about engaging, but not going to commit. And eUnited did this all with Scream on the left-hand side of your screen, trying to split push, get another 500 gold. And honestly, I like the risky play that Homie did to start off that fight. Even though he blinked in, he missed, sure. Mechanically, not the best display of performance, but the mindset was there. The target was Baskin. He is one of the biggest threats in eUnited, not because of the namesake, but because he's playing this Morrigan. He has so many tools at his disposal. If you get Baskin out of the equation, the rest of the team fight should be relatively clean for CLG.
Also because you know what to expect. When you're playing on bats, you know that you have to be aware of the fear no evil, right? When you're playing against the Morrigan, you have to keep everything in mind, and it becomes so problematic trying to keep all of these ultimates available to you in your mind.
eUnited now trying to extend their lead even further with a Gold Fury at 25 minutes, stretching their lead even further, about 5,000 gold now.
Nice look. That is the first real lead we've had of the game.
Pretty much.
eUnited on top at the moment. Tier 1 tower on the left could go down, but Scream catches a couple of players on the left side jungle, so he'll communicate that to his team, and his team will back off as 5.
Just waiting for the wave is eUnited, even just to siege this Tier 1 tower. Also got to wait for Benji, the frontline bear, to lead the charge.
It's going to be Scream, though, leading the charge here. Scream, not quite a tank build. You can see the Malice coming out.
But still enough health with the Mad Guy's Blessing that can help the Fire Giant sustain to top it back off. Not really too concerned is eUnited because they're going to keep going for the Tier 2.
Here's a little bit of a push. Jump away from Hurriwind. PolarBearMike leading the charge. Benji going in for the inside shot. Jigz is going to be stunned out. Another stun as well. PandaCat playing it rather safe.
It's all a poking game, just poking out Jigz already at half health. This cripple minefield from Benji is not allowing Jigz to disengage whatsoever.
So far, Jigz still standing. eUnited might be able to punish that next time, if he will.
Here comes the wave. You know eUnited want this one.
Here's the jump in. Hurriwind again on the back. Tier 2 tower going to go down relatively easy. PolarBearMike stunned out. Counterlogic Gaming looking for the bite back. Players low, though, with red health bars, and they got to get out. Baskin's the one to kill Snoopy. Hurriwind could be next, but Jigz playing a great defensive support, keeping players all the way away from his jungle in mid.
But now it's the Phoenix that eUnited has their attention for. It's 4 members of CLG trying to play defense, stunning out Benji. This Phoenix is still very healthy. There's no minions to eliminate the backdoor protection, and Homie falls to Panda.
PandaCat just out of control right now on the Hou-Yi left side. Phoenix falls 6-0-2 for the Hunter player today, the highest slash line in the game.
CLG started off the game in commanding fashion. They were 6-0 before eUnited got their first kill. Now eUnited respond with 8 kills straight, being able to take multiple Gold Furies, grabbing the Fire Giant. First Phoenix of the game, 27 minutes in. They're not stopping their siege quite yet. Going for this tier 2 tower, and they probably have a lot of gold in hand after this one.
Still going to look forward for the fire bird, that is.
Wow, surprised, because look at this. Scream with 3,000 gold, PandaCat 2,700.
Been away. Waiting for the big initiation here. Both teams really playing it safe. You were talking about the importance of the poke in these compositions.
It's true. Homie just now responding, and eUnited realizing, okay, we've had our fun. We're not going to risk it for the biscuit. It's not worth when we have so much gold to spend. Even going to go so far back to their tier 1 tower where it used to stand.
Just going and finding the safety there. eUnited. 2 minutes short of a half an hour. We've got 14 kills, 8 of which have the red, white, and blue eUnited stamp of approval on top. 11,000 gold for them as well in the lead above Counterlogic Gaming. And things looking very well for eUnited here.
We were mentioning how eUnited are patient. They want to get to that late game. They struggled early, but that was A-okay. Once PBM got the Gauntlet of Thebes, once Scream got a little bit of critical strike under his belt, it was eUnited forcing the fights.
But now Counterlogic Gaming forcing the fight here in eUnited's blue buff area. fineokay trying to keep Benji out of the conversation, but Benji going to get ulted. So will Scream. Scream goes down. Benji hits over Snoopy. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Homiefe with a great ring toss, but PandaCat going to put him down. Kill number 7 uninterrupted.
Scream sacrificed himself for the greater good because the rest of eUnited, they want more. Benji not in position to get the root off. PBM just kind of casually zoning while the rest of his team get the enhanced Fire Giant.
Fire Giant now, as you said, will be a little bit more valuable. PBM zoning. Counterlogic Gaming not interested. So Mike returns to the team. 50% damage. Totally. The lack of magical damage on Counterlogic Gaming. Is that an issue?
It is once it's like 35 minutes or later. But I don't think that's why CLG lost this game at all. You can always make that argument, sure, but I don't think that's fair to how eUnited played and being able to bounce back.
I agree. I think that this is just stronger play from eUnited. fineokay has been, sure, doing his job. I've just seen a larger impact from E than I have from Counter.
I think the main focus is where Homie kind of missed his abilities between that tier 1, tier 2 tower after he blinked in. eUnited capitalizing off of that one mistake. Killing out Homie, being able to bounce back under the tier 1 tower, getting themselves the Gold Fury. It was just a never-ending pressure. So when you play against eUnited, you better play perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely have to. These guys, obviously, the defending world champions, they had to play to a certain caliber last year in order to get there, and that's exactly what they wound up doing. So.
Still showing their stuff, at least in North America online phase, without a single defeat set-wise, only dropping one game to Luminosity. Thought they were about to drop this game to CLG the way it started, but eUnited just very well aware of their strengths and weaknesses, just waiting to that late game.
Exactly. Really well said, and I like that we're seeing some offensive Serqet. She's routinely built so tanky, seeing the double crit coming out here. I like it totally.
I love the glass cannon style. As long as you got that Mad Guy's cloak, to not get interrupted during your death bane. That's what it's all about.
Right side is eUnited's target at the moment. No more towers remain. Left side, Phoenix has respawned. eUnited now poised in position for the right side.
Fineokay has to defend the left side from fire minions. Jigz goes in the draconic form, dropping the Suns' PandaCat. Scream creating a lot of confusion on the left side.
Meanwhile, there's still fight on the right side. Jigz in trouble, half HP. eUnited get the bird, look for retreat, and they'll look to move to the mid.
10-7, very content with grabbing the right side. Phoenix not interested in going for the middle. Phoenix without those minions could even go so far as safely committing to the left if they really wanted to, but with a wave that close to the middle, Phoenix, not a surprise, United are sticking to their guns.
Exactly. United are just hanging out in the jungle. They want to see if Counterlogic Gaming are willing to really follow them, but CLG have been to this concert before. And they ain't buying no refreshments. Nice attempt from PandaCat. Won't be able to find anybody on the back line with that ricochet, but it was nice looking.
6 items deep for eUnited. CLG with about 4.5 to 5 on some of their members. Trying to play defense against the Enhanced Fire Giant for another minute and 20 seconds. United gonna safely split this one up, actually. 3-2 between left and middle.
Benji and Baskin are in the mid. The other 3 are on the left-hand side. fineokay and Homie have been drafted to go defend against the mid.
Look at those minions on the right side that were pinged out. This is a waiting game for eUnited. They're not interested with actually sieging this. They want this Titan to get slowly chipped away. Some fire minions are poking away. Hurriwind has to retreat, forcing a 5-on-4.
Titan's at 75%, and Hurriwind's going to use his ultimate. Left side Phoenix is down for the count. Mid lane, the only one that's up.
So meticulous about every little approach. This is really world-class status. This is what you would expect out of like a world, like HRX performance.
Pretty much. Really, really, really strong stuff coming out from these players. Suns are going to be dropped here underneath the tower. And CLG trying to fight into it. Nice transformation from Jigz to avoid the damage from PandaCat.
Baskin actually transforming into fineokay. The turtle chasing the turtle. Watery Grave on the left side. Benji forced to retreat under the mid lane. fineokay just going to keep Baskin busy.
The rest of United having trouble breaking this middle lane.
Wow, PBM intercepting the sash. That was intended for PandaCat.
Yeah, nice moves there.
Oh,
Homiefe, he misses, he jukes. Either way, the ultimate does not connect. eUnited can capitalize.
Baskin with his best Barra backstep impression as he takes out Homie. Snoopy is going to Jutsu away on the left side. Hurriwind in a whole heap of trouble against Benji.
And Benji's going to send him to detention. 2 players dead for Counterlogic Gaming. Snoopy and fineokay here at the base. The rest of eUnited looking to group up and push. Half HP on the Titan. Totally, Baskin's low and Scream's low. Baskin's actually going to go down, it looks like, as Snoopy. No, Baskin's the one going up. Baskin gets the kill. fineokay does punish him, but now the battle under the Titan is here. 10%, 5%, but fineokay is playing defense. They can do this, but they won't. eUnited, with every last breath, take care of the opponent in 34 minutes.
Great performance. Being able to come back from an 0-6 deficit, playing so cleanly, just slowly waiting for CLG to overextend one time between that tier 1 and tier 2 tower, punishing Homiefe and running away with the game.
Really, really interesting stuff. Most valuable player is up in the air, honestly.
I don't know, honestly.
This was tough to kind of discern.
So PandaCat dominated Snoopy, I would say, in laning phase early on. Baskin made some really good baiting plays, being able to juke at the very end against Homiefe. Wow. Like, honestly, Homie has struggled a little bit, but honestly, I think he got baited in those situations.
Yeah, I think Homie's job there is to sort of be the superhero, and it's kind of tough to go about doing that. So we'll see how that one really works out for Counterlogic Gaming as they sort of reflect on their own game. But eUnited here, probably PandaCat just has the slash line. That's the easy one. Give it a PandaCat. Right now, I'm going to give it a Graham.
Oh, we did! Hi, welcome back to the desk for the end of Game 1 between eUnited and CLG. eUnited came out with a victory so far. Taco, what was the standout moment?
That was not a very easy win for eUnited initially. At the very start of this matchup, CLG were actually getting the better end of eUnited. For a while, the scoreline even sat. It's 6 kills in favor to a fat 0 for eUnited, but lot of turnarounds just happened. At CLG, they were being so precise with their picks in the early game. It kind of started to crumble, though, as the transition over into mid started to happen. eUnited had a couple of team fighting moments, 2 really big ones, in fact, right around the mid lane area and red buff territory, where eUnited were able to just consistently chase down CLG all the way down the mid lane, sieging the T1 tower, and then still continuously aggressing into CLG. And from that moment forward, it kind of just felt like it was too easy for eUnited to just pick apart CLG one by one.
Well, Thomas, I've got about it. It will be PandaCat with the MVP vote. He didn't die, so you can't complain about that. Overall, KDA, pretty solid. 10. Flat 10. That's all you need to know. And he played in the Ho-Yi, which, to be fair, we don't see too much Ho-Yi this year, but we do see it with PandaCat more than anybody else, I feel.
Sunbreaker was so detrimental for Jigz to try and handle. Every single time he tried to go into that Draconic form for the Fafnir, he was met with the Sunbreaker into further damage from eUnited. I love the space control that eUnited had, and they didn't even really get to utilize this draft until much later on.
Yeah, and yes, you see the sun's raining down right then onto Jigz, exactly as you called it. So eUnited basically fell behind in the early game, but then team fights come into play and they communicate very well and come out on top.
Their team fights were just a lot more sound. I think it was also a bit easier. CLG kind of lacking that hard mage damage. I think that's what really impacted them, for sure, because Baskin on the Morrigan had so many different opportunities, not only to try and counter-initiate with Najah transformations, but also just having that damage. The magical damage really, you could tell Hurriwind was missing out on it.